let's get into quick hits, shall we? Let's see. Let me get my boom. Here we go. Now, as you guys been seeing on your timelines, excuse me, as you guys been seeing on your timelines about this series, this docu series called Quiet on Set. Heard about it, just haven't found time to really deep dive and invest into it. But earlier, well, last night, a name popped up, Dan Schneider. Now, when I saw that name, I say, I recognize that name from either All That, Keenan and Kel, or whatever the case may be. I was like, yep, that's starting to come back to me. When I turn on my phone, now it's the usual stuff. How kids were abused on a set, put in uncomfortable situations. Excuse me. Sorry. You put in uncomfortable situations. And something wild that I heard was like massages and stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a firm believer you have to drive in the speed limit that year allows. Like, there's some things that was acceptable in the 90s that's not acceptable now. So what makes this even worse is what they're being accused of was not acceptable back then. You can't paint a picture of why kids are giving you a massage, particularly if allegedly off the screen, because we're about to dive into his apology. Now, like they said, what about on screen? So if you're giving a massage on screen, like, how does that look like in the 90s? That's gonna look wild right now. Outside of you being a parent and you sitting back, you got one child with the big green leaf giving you a fan. You got the other children giving you a manicure, pedicure, and that type of stuff. You got somebody doing your nails and all that other stuff. So, like, how some parents want to create fantasy versus how the kids are moving right now. But if the operative word was if this was done off screen and it was a real massage, yeah. If Christopher J was a parent in the 90s, I'm gonna be looking like, and I'm gonna tell homeboy, don't you ever have my kids put their grody paws on you. Let me fix this again. Jesus, I'm slipping. So he apologized for the massages, and there being somewhat of a hostile work environment. Now, if people's like, Dan Schneider, how does he look like? I want to say, hold on. Because when I saw him, I want to make sure this is right, because if you guys want to know how this person looks like, let me do this. Yeah, that's what I thought. He was the manager from Good Burger. Keenan and Kel segment show, movie, or whatever the case would be. The big manager, that's Dan Schneider. He's the one that ran, who was one of the heads that was in the writer's room, producing, and that type of stuff. So he had to take a lot of flack for what was going on the sets back then. So, like I said, hostile work environment for the children, I can only imagine. The writer's room. Now, this is where a lot of I don't even want to say that word because that's going to sound crazy. This is where a lot of brainstorming, that's where I'm going to use. The writer's room was a lot of brainstorming coming on. So keep in mind, all that was an improv show. And it trickled around to Nickelodeon. So it's like, what jokes can we make that is suitable for children and that is just funny because the kids think this is funny and they want to do this because they believe they're funny. I hear you and I understand that. And I also understand that you don't technically run everything because to make any type of changes on the set or to the script, it has to go through the producers on the East Coast. It has to go through the producers on the West Coast. And it has to go through all these stages, and it has to be greenlit for something as a small, simple removal. So I totally get it, and I totally understand that. So the question is, where does it start? Writer's room. Everything starts in the writer's room. So what jokes did you say that is inappropriate back then? Because it's sure as hell inappropriate now. I don't know too many things that would have fly back in the 90s that it's acceptable as far as, especially pertaining to children. I can't think of too many, or if any at all. So he had to apologize for that, because some of the jokes, as he looks back now, he's like, those jokes was inappropriate. And he probably just didn't know, or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't matter. You didn't know. Well, actually, as an adult, I wonder how old he was back then. You should have known. You should have. No, I believe you should have known. So we gotta hold him accountable for that. And for the record, he's not ducking or anything. He's actually apologizing. You guys can go look at the video from either Neighborhood Talk or from Hollywood Unlocked. It has an extended that statement sit down that he had with that gentleman. He explained everything. He owned up to everything. He apologized for everything. So, and another thing. Now, some people ask, what was said and what happened? This is where the Neighborhood Talk video comes to play. I don't know if that was Ariana Grande or not. I really don't. But you have a fit. Number one, they put a scene where they had Diddy as a special guest on one of the shows. I thought, not scroll, because I was like, you guys are whatever. So when it came to that one clip, and maybe it was Ariana Grande, I'm not 100% sure, but you saw a little girl who will put her toe in her mouth. Now, that's disgusting. I understand fetishes. Like, people have different type of fetishes. It's like, sorry, that's a big ass no for me. Like, feet, just no. So if that's where your mind is at, like, as far as that's inappropriate for kids because of that, okay, let's do that. Because, like I said, I don't deal with feet. So if y'all say it's inappropriate, I'll take your word for it. Now, you had another video where you had a girl trying to squeeze how do we squeeze juice out of the potato, and how she was holding it and doing that. It can look, yeah. It's like, you can see why they say that's inappropriate. And also, keep in mind, I do understand the one side, they say you got to let these kids be kids. Like, nobody's thinking about that when nobody's thinking about that when it comes to kids, because these are kids, and the kids not even thinking about that. So they're gonna say, why are you trying to adulterize children? That is a fair conversation to have with those who have their emotions in check and they're smart enough to have that conversation. But also keep in mind, if it's inappropriate, it's inappropriate. And as adults, we can't trust the children to make that decision at times. Especially on a set where there was nothing but adults around and nobody said anything back then. So it probably went over their head. So another aspect of this conversation, which can make it so frustrating, is, are we looking at the 90s with 2009? And like I said, the best thing to go by is real simple. What was the speed limit for back then in the 90s? If that was inappropriate back then, in a discussion, that's why Dan Schneider had to apologize. Because he's looking back, he said this. He said this. Back then, that was inappropriate. And we didn't think this all the way through. So I had to take that apology. I had to take that on the chin. So, and also that leads to another question. Is this as parents, I'm a father. Would I ever want my children working in the children's industry? I'll say this. Wherever my son goes, I go. I'm a helicopter parent. If there's ever, I know helicopter parent get a negative connotation. If there's ever a time where you need to be a helicopter parent, it's in that industry. Because it's up to the parents. Now, did a lot of adults fail these children? Yes, it did. But it's up to the parent to say, no, my child's not going to participate in that activity, putting his foot in the mouth. My child is not going to hold a foreign object in a way that it is very disgusting. My child is not going to wear a hoodie that says, I'm the coolest monkey in the jungle. The parents have to be there. And the way I say, at any time you try to take a parent away from the child, this contract is void. So, thoughts and prayers goes to those who were traumatized about what happened. That child industry is a very, very dangerous place, especially compared to the adult industry where it's just ran by adults, because adults do nothing but work there, where they rarely work with children, because these children are victims. Innocent that can turn into victims, and you have to be careful because a victim could turn into a predator. So that children's industry is very dangerous. That's why it's best if parents are there every fucking step of the way, and don't let anybody try to cut you out. Like, you have to put a clause in the contract. As a parent, I can pull out at any time. I can pull my child out at any time. No penalties. Have that in the contract. And if anybody said we can't do that, well, you can't have my child. Have a nice day. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of all these children making all this money, getting all this fame, and when they turn an adult, when they become adult, they become Shia LaBeouf, they become Orlando Brown, they become whatever these child stars when they get older. So be there every step of the way if you want to get your child into that industry. So that's the first quick hit. Second one, Ryan Garcia, in this mental breakdown that he's going through. So he brought up he used to battle mental health at in the Breakfast Club interview, which I think is a respectfully, I'm very sensitive to those who have mental health, believe it or not, but I'm also willing to put my foot in somebody's ass, despite the fact if they have mental health issues or not. Now, with Ryan Garcia, when he brought that up, I understand that to have a conversation, but that has started to become an excuse for him to wild out. He went on Spaces and spoke with Andrew Tate and revealed what was happening in some section that's Illuminati ran, and how he said he don't give an F. I got the videos, I got all of this. Can't no one touch me. Blah 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 blah. So let's speak to that. Ryan, if nobody could touch you, how did you end up in that situation? If this is all true. If the Illuminati can't touch you, how did you find yourself in a situation where you had to witness that, if all this is true? Andrew Tate, I know where you went, the area you went to. Alex Jones confirmed it. If I recall correctly, without being so direct, Andrew Tate confirmed it. Matter of fact, Andrew Tate is still battling those people right now as we speak. But you brought all of this. You're bringing all of this on you. On top of that, you're mixing it with your mental health. Here's how I see it. If what you're saying is true, move accordingly. Because you talk about them pinning you down and make you watch some egregious things happen to children. Now, I believe Ryan to the extent of, yes, those happen. Maybe not as extreme. Well, yes, let me stop that because that's a lie. Those things do happen. Does it go reported? No. Is it going to hit any news blogs? No. It happens. Excuse me. It happens. Police do get involved. All this stuff happens. But because of politics and how things work at the top, it has to go under the radar. For the simple fact that, number one, you don't want too much attention brought on yourself. But also, more importantly, You don't know who's on your team who might have partaken in some event similar to that, maybe on the lowest scale, even the lowest scales of participating in the things that he saw is grounds for isolation, hell, jail time. So I wish I could sit here and say Ryan Garcia is telling the truth, but I can't, because you went on the #1 radio show in America and said, I used to battle mental health. I used to battle mental issues. And you went on your story to explain your episodes, your experiences. And albeit I do believe that you're a spiritual man and you probably had an encounter with God, a spiritual encounter. But you want people to believe you, but you introduce that to the world. This is why you have to be careful with your messaging. What you say now can affect other topics that you speak about later. See, truth be told, mental health and what you witnessed had nothing to do with each other, but because you presented mental health, now they have a scapegoat to say he's crazy. You have to be careful of the ammunition that you put out there. What I say right here can affect me down the road in a different lane, different sector that has nothing to do with it. It is very much possible. So, if what Ryan Garcia is saying is true, ladies and gentlemen, I'm inclined not to believe him. Because you didn't practice enough discernment and good decision making to choose your words carefully based off of what you experienced. See, when you experience something like that, you have to be careful of anything and everything you say, because it will be used against you. You're your own worst enemy. And if you become your own worst enemy, how can you help others? If what he's saying is true. But right now, I have to chalk that up to him having a mental breakdown because he introduced it. Ryan Garcia, please make a better decision moving forward. Now, last quick hits segment, Benzino. How are we going to do this? He's upset with Dr. Dre because he said Eminem's probably one of the best MCs alive. And ladies and gentlemen, put any rapper, what rapper do you want to put against Eminem right now? Oh, wait. Anybody in chat? Anybody? Do you guys want any rapper you think can out-rap or out-touch or go bar for Eminem? Because outside of him, Worse Than 5'9", Kendrick, and some people, at this point now, it's just battle rap now. You need to go get Daylight to go one-on-one against him at this point. That's the only way that this is going to be feasible. Now, Benzino took a shot at Eminem back in the 90s. That didn't work. That didn't work out in his favor, obviously. And when you thought Benzino finally came up with a win, not a win, actually come out with a good response song, only to later say, yeah, I had a lot of help with ghostwriters. Just like, what the fuck? This is not what hip-hop was based off of. This is not how, like, to call yourself an MC, if you're going to go at somebody, that need to be your pen and your pen only. I understand you need to make some touches because of the hooks and that type of stuff, because a lot of people who are exceptional MCs just can't write a hook to save their life. Why, I don't know, but it is what it is. So, is I bet Benzino, you need to let this go. Now, why did Elm took a shot at Benzino in Doomsday 2? I don't know. I don't know what was said behind the scenes, because a lot of this stuff always transpires when nobody's looking and nobody's watching. So, Big Crit don't get enough appreciation. Let me put that out there. As there's two songs, like, if you're not trying to listen to, some people are not trying to listen to the whole Big Crit song, go listen to One Train. The last verse is Big Crit. So just to get you guys introduced to him. And then if you want to see how versatile he is, go listen to him and Lecrae perform Mayday. So just understand who Big Crit is. See, Benzino is still stuck in the fact that in the 90s, and he's trying to come up with anything and everything to what's what I'm looking for. He's trying to come up with anything and everything to go at yeah. Oh, that's your mentor? Oh, salute to you. Salute to you. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, good. Hey, that's a great mentor to have. I believe you. I 100% believe you on that one. But Benzino, let this shit go. I don't know what slurs you're taking. Now, do I think anyone's ever gonna do a Coil Ray feature? No. And believe it or not, Coil Ray's energy is cool. His hard music is getting a little bit better, but I don't think anyone's ever gonna do a feature with her daughter. There's so many things against that. That's not happening. And not to mention, you got Benzino crying on the Drink Champs over this. It's like, you know what, Ben, just go away. Let me not say that. Take your phone away. Go do something else. Go be a silent investor. Go make your money that way. Stop getting in the spotlight. And also, the more time Benzino gets in the spotlight, the more he takes away from his daughter. So yeah, Ben, I'm gonna need you to make a great parenting decision and just step away. Step away. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was